The Topeka governing body meeting will come to order. Please rise as you are able and give your attention to Councilmember Ortiz for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. This evening, I introduce to you Chaplain Larry Crossley. If you'll please stand to the podium. Pastor Larry Crossley is a former employee of the Westar Energy who retired after 29 years in 2014. He has been in the ministry since 1995 and served as associate minister under several pastors. Pastor Crossley served for a short time as a lead pastor at the Pilgrim Missionary Baptist Church, which is in District 3. And I know you served at Antioch as well, which is also in District 3. And I also think Mount Carmel too, am I correct?
No.
No, okay, just Antioch, okay. Currently, Pastor Crossley serves as the newest chaplain in the Topeka Police Department, beginning his service to those who serve and protect this city in February of this year. It's an honor. I know his wife. They've been in this city for quite a while, and it's an honor, and I don't know if you'd like to add anything. Please feel free to do that if you would.
Just like to say good evening. May we bow our heads in prayer, please. Almighty God, thank you on behalf of all who gather here today and ask for your guidance. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work. I pray for the success of our mayor, for the various levels of city officials, and in particular for this assembled council. I am asking that you would graciously grant them wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, and the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement. I pray for the agenda set before them today, and that what comes from it would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Topeka. It is in your most blessed name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have one proclamation. Will Dr. Peak join me in your on song? Smile. Whereas public works services are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives in programs such as water, sewers, streets, and traffic, urban forestry, GIS, public buildings, parking, fleet services, and whereas Topekans' health, safety, and comfort are dependent on these services. And whereas the quality and effectiveness of public works services are vitally dependent upon the efforts and skills of those that work in these fields. And whereas the efficiency of the public works staff is influenced by the citizens' understanding of the importance of the work they perform, and whereas the year 2019 marks the 59th annual National Public Works Week with the theme Public Works, it starts here. Now therefore, as a representative of Michelle De La Isla, Mayor of the City of Topeka, we do hereby proclaim May 19th through May 25th, 2019 as National Public Works Week.
Governing body, we appreciate you giving this proclamation. You have kind of the assembled team representing different public works services and utility services up here. We had an open house over at the Holiday Building and had a good turnout of kids and others kind of visiting and learning what we do in public works and utilities, and just really appreciate the recognition tonight. So thank you. Sure, I'll pass the mic and let, if you'd say your name and the division you're in. Yes.
Mike Ogden, Facility Operations.
Braxton Copley, Deputy Director of Utilities, and I just want to say that this is a small representative group of the 400 plus very hardworking employees that we have out in the field, literally the work around the clock to make sure that we're delivering the services you all deserve.
Brenda Hayes, parking.
Darren Haig, TSG.
Ryan Bigenwald, Fleet Services.
Vince Sheets, Facilities.
Jeff Hunt, Engineering.
Tony Trower, Street Operations Manager.
Jackie Vogel, Transportation Operations.
Hannah Yolrig, Internal Services.
Thank you all for all your hard work and your leadership. Thank you. Okay, if I could please have the Human Relations Commission and Danae Moisier from the Kansas Children's Discovery Center join me up front. Today we are here to present the Tony Scroggins Award to the Kansas Children's Discovery Center. The Human Relations Commission uses the Troy Scroggins Award to recognize individuals and organizations for their efforts in furthering the HRC's mission, which is to ensure fair and equal rights to all citizens of Topeka. The Kansas Children's Discovery Center is a leading force in providing equal opportunities to all children where they can explore, create, discover, and learn through play.
Thank you very much, Council. I'd like to present this Troy Scroggins Award. First of all, my name is Luis Estrada. I'm the Vice Chair of the Human Relations Commission, and along with me, I have my fellow commissioners who I will have introduce themselves.
I'm Lorraine Williams.
I'm Champagne Lloyd.
And I'm Will Nager.
So on behalf of us and the rest of the commission that couldn't be present today, we'd like to present the Kansas Children's Discovery Center with this Troy Scroggins Award for their great work with our youth, our kids, and our families here in Topeka.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud to accept this honor on behalf of the Kansas Children's Discovery Center. At the Discovery Center, we believe that every child deserves rich and diverse play experiences, no matter their abilities, their background, or their zip code. We have a number of programs that are committed to breaking down those barriers. Whether it's through our financial programs where we have free and reduced admission, through puzzle pieces where we have free play experiences for children who are on the autism spectrum and their families, whether it's through Medical Warriors, a program that's for children who are facing life-threatening illnesses. They come to the museum when we're closed to the public and have play experiences with their family. Or our most recent program, Play Free, which is a partnership with the Topeka Correctional Facility. We welcome children who have incarcerated mothers to have visits at the museum when we're closed to the public. We believe in children, we believe in families, and we thank you for this honor.
That is awesome. I did not realize you had all those programs. That's amazing. And congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we would like to recognize, we have some visitors. Pack 183, could you stand up, gentlemen? And they're here to work on their badge. Thank you for coming. I hope you can stay for the whole meeting. Thank you. At this time, I'd like us to take a moment of silence to remember and just for respect for the Freeze family who lost their child in a drowning over the weekend. If you would join me in that, please. We will now proceed to the roll call.
Deputy Mayor Clear,
Here.
Council Members Hiller,
Here.
Ortiz,
Here.
Emerson,
Here.
Padilla,
Here.
Jensen,
Present.
Mays,
Here.
Cohen,
Here.
and Lester.
Here.
Okay, there are no appointments this evening, so we now proceed to the consent agenda that the clerk would read.
A is approval of the acquisition of real property located at 1203 and 1221 Northeast Chester Avenue. B is a resolution introduced by Councilmember Karen Hiller granting Seaman High School class of 1989 an exception to the provisions of City of Topeka Code Section 945-150 concerning noise prohibitions. C is approval of a proposed settlement in the amount of $32,954.68. D are minutes of the regular meeting of May 14, 2019. There's a list of cereal malt beverage applications, and staff is recommending approval.
Okay, that's consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, there is a motion by Councilmember Lesser and a second by Councilmember Padilla. We have to vote. Okay, so all those in favor vote yes, opposed vote no.
Mr. Emerson? We have 9 yes.
Okay, 9 having voted yes, the consent agenda is approved. We now proceed to the action items, beginning with action item 5A. If the clerk would read.
A is setting a public hearing date of June 11, 2019 for consideration of imposing special assessments for Southwest 49th Street and Southwest Winger Road street improvements.
Mr. City Manager?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Tonight, this is the first step in the consideration for the special assessments that will need to be put on these properties. Tonight is very simple, setting the hearing. We're setting the hearing for June 11, 2019 for the consideration of imposing assessments on for these public improvements.
Okay, any discussion, questions? Councilmember Hiller. Move to approve. Here we have Councilmember Hiller make a motion and Councilmember Emerson second. No questions, comments? Okay, seeing none, we will vote, and it takes 6 to approve this item. All those in favor vote yes, opposed vote no.
We have 9 yes.
Okay, 9 having voted yes, this is approved. Man, we're just moving right along here. Okay, City Clerk.
B is an ordinance introduced by City Manager Brent Trapp regarding the filing and disposition of claims, amending, revising, and repealing various sections of Chapter 3.35 of the Topeka Municipal Code.
Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Tonight, we bring before you consideration of this ordinance change. We considered it in discussion item last week. There are a couple of items that the city attorney would like to discuss regarding a change that was made in the ordinance since the last meeting, so I'll let her cover those.
Thank you, City Manager.
I wanted to ask for a kind of a point of order. We all got an email in advance that the flag item was going to be pulled off the agenda, but the public didn't know.
Yeah, there was something in the paper. Actually.
Was it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, just wanted to make sure. We got a lot of email about it today.
No, they knew.
Okay, thank you.
Continue.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Really, the only change since last week when we talked about this item initially is in lines 25 and 26 on page 1 of the proposed ordinance, and it just adds the words with the concurrence of the city manager. That just adds an extra layer. So once the city attorney and her staff analyzes the claim and determines that it should be paid, then it's run by the city manager for further evaluation and approval.
Okay, any questions, discussion? Councilmember Jensen?
Thank you. I'm curious if any of the feedback that council provided at the last meeting was incorporated into this.
Councilmember Jensen, I didn't get like a majority of folks that wanted one thing or the other. I think we did a memo that tried to explain further on the points that we heard. I know that I have heard from some folks who would like to perhaps reduce the threshold amount from 50 down to a lower amount. I heard from probably a couple, 3 on most of the items, so I just wanted, if somebody wants to make a motion to make an amendment, then we'll certainly entertain that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Councilmember Hiller?
I'm one of the people that asked a number of questions last time. I just wanted to say I really appreciate the explanations and the feedback that you gave us. If there really are just that handful of claims in between and it hasn't mattered, then I don't think the ordinance talks about the quarterly reports to us. That's just something you've offered administratively, correct?
Right, Councilmember Hiller, initially we had started with the annual reports, but then after hearing some of the feedback, we think perhaps a quarterly report on the claims would be a good idea, so we're going to start providing quarterly reports and perhaps even a monthly listing.
Well, I wanted
Did you do more?
to give feedback on that, in that just the sample that you gave us, I mean, when we can see how many pothole claims we did pay, it makes a difference in terms of being able, of what we say to constituents that either privately or publicly get hold of us. And I found that, I've always found them helpful. A quarter at a time is probably enough to be able to read through. So I still have the reservations that I stated before, but I feel like I can support it. So I wanted to share that.
Okay, any other questions, discussion? Councilmember Emerson?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yes, I was one of the ones who had voiced to staff that I was a little uncomfortable going from 10,000 all the way up to 50,000. And I met yesterday with actually Mr. Trout and Mr. Gerber. And one of the things that I guess I won't speak for you gentlemen, except maybe I will, in saying that you both thought something around the 35,000 threshold would capture the majority of claims, so we weren't looking at near as many, and yet give us, wouldn't be going all the way to 50. Is that correct?
Right. Through the discussion, we do feel that it will help us. There may be a few claims that end up outside of that 35,000, obviously, but for us, making this change is a substantial change, and but the most important thing is that there is a change. We feel that through our analysis through the RPI, we've determined that we can help by having this authority move above 10,000. Our recommendation was 50. We've shown that other cities have done 50. But obviously, if there's a feeling of uncomfortableness related to that figure, a modification of it in the 35,000 range would be a benefit to us. So we would accept that if that's what was decided regarding the body.
Well, I would like to make a motion then that we change line 27. Right now it says, shall have the authority to negotiate a settlement of claim in an amount not to exceed 50,000. I would like to say, I would like that to be 35,000. And my reasoning for that is, when we're talking about $35,000 or more, I think it's well worth our time, once or twice a year, that might come to us to take some time and understand what the issues are. So that would be my motion.
There a second?
Hold on.
Hold up.
So I was just going to say also, Councilmember Emerson,
Yes, ma'am.
along those same lines, you want to amend 32, line 32 on page 2?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't catch all of them, yes.
That's all right. Those two spots, 27 and 32.
Yeah, versus 50,000 would basically, the two places would go to 35,000.
Is there a second? Councilmember Jensen, seconds. Any other discussion?
I do have a question too. The statutory limit, sometimes I get confused on the different kinds of claims that we have, and we're only talking about one set. But the statutory limit on these tort claims is 120 days, correct?
Yes.
Now, we've talked about it along the way and recently. With this change, what do you expect your typical turnaround time will be for someone who has filed a claim?
The typical turnaround time is inside of 120 days, but I think every case is just kind of on a case-by-case basis because they have to call, I'm sorry, I didn't say Councilwoman Hill or when I started. So every case requires staff to go out, reach out to different departments. So if it's a public works issue or if it's a utilities issue. So it just takes a different period of time. We try to get them processed as quickly as possible inside that 120 days, but
If I may continue, I mean, part of the discussion we had, and it started, as I recall, with one that had butted right up against the 120 days, but you all had been kind of sitting on them and felt like you couldn't do anything until that had expired. And with this RPI process and the idea that you wanted to dispatch them quickly, I wondered if there already was or would be an administrative guideline about how fast you wanted staff to turn them around. Because that's the whole idea that you're telling us, in great part, the reason you want to do this.
Is that mentioned in here anywhere about?
it's not. And you make a good point, Councilwoman Heller, that would be an administrative process, and we probably do need to have a corresponding process in place.
I would sure hope that you would, because it would seem that 30 days or less would be, in most claims, to review a police report or get a memo from a, if that's why we're doing this, then I hope there would be. And that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anything else on the ordinance? Seeing no further discussion, it takes 5 votes to approve this item. Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. You're right. So we need to vote on Councilmember Emerson's motion first. And we had a second. Jensen, Councilmember Jensen. So all those in favor of the 35,000 instead of the 50,000, vote yes. All those opposed, vote no.
Okay, we have 7 yes, the motion passes. Ms. Ortiz and Mr. Padilla voting no.
Okay, with 7 voting yes, then the motion passed. Now we need to vote on the ordinance with the 35 in there instead of the 50. Is there a motion? Okay, motion by Cohen, I was going to say Congressman. Cohen. Councilmember Lesser, seconded. Okay, all those in favor vote yes, all those opposed vote no.
Mr. Lesser. Mr. Lesser. We have 7 yes, Ms. Ortiz and Mr. Padilla voting no.
7 votes are required, with 7 voting yes, the ordinance passes. We now proceed to the non-action items, beginning with item 6A, if the clerk would read.
A is a discussion regarding the Dynamic Core Redevelopment District, a tax increment financing district that would encompass the downtown area and North Topeka Arts District.
Mr. City Manager?
Second.
I just read the agenda wrong.
My apologies. Chief just informed me that we are actually, our area is in a tornado warning at this point.
Warning?
Yes, and there is a tornado in the area around Rossville. It is headed to the northwest away from us, but we are in the warning area. Do we need to go downstairs? Chief, I mean, I don't know where they're at with regards to the process. If we need to take a recess for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and make sure to be safe?
Okay. Let's recess while we talk about this and get it straightened out.
I heard it was in Manhattan. This is a mile north.
Which I don't know how long the warning is. It's good. It's a mile north and it's heading northwest. So, and we're in the warning till 7 p.m.
Oh. Doug might go home.
It's,
Way up north.
it's north of us.
Touching down in Dahlia, 4 miles from the hospital. Hey, go home. To the north, towards the casino.
Go ahead, go home. Okay.
Now, I saw a swatch and Topeka wasn't in the swatch.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make you aware of that. So it looks like probably okay at this point.
There we go.
Found it. Turns out the chief had better information. Who knew?
Says take shelter now. What do we want to do? Let's vote.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Adjourn recess.
Reset.
We
Till
adjourn.
7?
Tornado, I want to go home and see my family.
Yeah.
It's moving away from us.
Okay.
But it's still take shelter now. So we aren't supposed to ignore these. So we need to do something.
Yeah, so recess for 15 minutes.
You can go downstairs. Let's go.
All right. Is everybody downstairs?